do you worry at all about the sort of sniffing yourself factor this week when it comes to the Eagles? Because it was a national TV game where the Eagles played great. Hurts in particular in the offense played great. And they got a lot of national acclaim for playing as well as they did, not just locally. Is that a concern at all going into this week's game? Eagles are back at it today. Washington. We're going to get into a couple things. Barrett's poured through the film here. We're going to get into the key matchups at 12:30 between the Washington Commanders and the Eagles. We're going to look at the Washington's wide receivers are legit. We're going to look at them versus the Eagles corners, what the game plan is on that side of the ball. We're going to get into the Commanders defensive line, the interior, Payne and Allen versus Kelsey, Dickerson, Sayamalu, Eagles offense versus Washington's defense. All kinds of stuff coming up at 12:30. At 1 o'clock, we'll try to figure out exactly what went wrong here with Carson Wentz and why things ended the way that they did, and maybe draw a little comp between he and another guy who took his ball and ran out of here in Ben Simmons. We will do that. Phillies at 1:30. B. Mitch at 2:15. Brian Mitchell will be joining us from Washington at 2:15. We're also going to dive into the biggest matchups of the week, guys. There's some good games, as usual, on the NFL slate. Some actually really good games. There's a headliner. I'll just say it right now. The Bills and the Dolphins, man. That one, yes. That one is the one. That's the marquee game as far as I'm concerned.
And the thing
other
is,
than the Eagles.
It won't even be a what time is that game?
I believe it's 1 o'clock. I think it's an early
1 o'clock game. It's a shame that's not a national game, but they're not markets that draw well in the NFL. You know, obviously they're opposite. In this market, they're opposite the Eagles, so that wasn't going to happen.
1 o'clock, FYI. 1
yeah.
o'clock.
So, man, I wish that was a national game.
Same.
My goodness.
I actually wish that was. What was the? Did I not love the Sunday night game, or was it? I'm trying to remember the Sunday night game. The Broncos and the 49ers.
I like that. I want to see the 49ers defense go against Russell Wilson. Russell knows them well. They know Russell well. That's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, I'd rather the Bills and the Dolphins be Sunday night. But
when you go through the schedule, I was looking at it this morning. There's two definite undefeated teams that could fall this weekend.
Oh,
there's two that could fall this weekend.
Yeah, are you saying Eagles?
Care to elaborate?
Nope.
Right.
Not until we get to the schedule. Nope.
All right. We will get to that in a little bit. I have a good on this date for you guys. And I found we were talking about this in the pre-show meeting. There's a couple good movies. I discovered another one that's a killer that was released on this date too. So we will dive into all of that in a little bit. What's your sense of the Eagles? Do you worry at all? We talked about this last night. I did the Countdown to Kickoff show at Screwballs and King of Prussia last night with Krause and Coach Henry, and Derek was kind enough to jump on. Barry jumped on the week before. We appreciate it. But we talked about this a little bit, and I want to bounce it off of you guys. Do you worry at all about the sort of sniffing yourself factor this week when it comes to the Eagles? Because it was a national TV game where the Eagles played great. Hurts in particular in the offense played great. And they got a lot of national acclaim for playing as well as they did, not just locally. Is that a concern at all going into this week's game?
No.
Neither. I'm sorry.
No.
And it's the reason why I say that. Go ahead. I'll let you go, Derek, because you answered first.
If this Eagles team plays anywhere close to what it played on Monday night with that same kind of energy, if Jonathan Gannon attacks Carson Wentz, this game will be handily decided. The Washington's offensive line is a mess. If Jack Del Rio decides to stand back there and play zone against these guys, Jalen Hurts is going to pick them apart. If he blitzes them, unless they have a spy on Jalen, he's going to step up and do what he did against Detroit and beat them with his legs. I think the Eagles are going to thoroughly frustrate this team. I'm so interested in seeing this collection of Washington receivers go up against the Eagles secondary. I think that's going to be a great matchup. But when you look at the overall talent level on both teams, Eagles by far have more talent than Washington. And I think in the final analysis, even if the Eagles don't play the perfect game, a minute flawed game is still good enough to beat this Washington team by double digits.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think because Nick Sirianni early in the week sort of planted the seed of not, we're not playing complete games now. And Jalen, right after the game, Jalen Hurts, we left money on the table right away. I think when your coach and your quarterback are putting that message out there collectively, I think it helps. Plus, you have a lot of veterans.
Right.
I know there's some younger kids, but you have a lot of Fletcher Cox and Kelsey and Lane Johnson types who I think will keep everybody kind of grounded this week. If anything, I think it's just goofy stuff happens in division games more than it is the Eagles. Heads are pumped up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that the Eagles kind of figured it out this last game in their preparation for playing Minnesota. There was a lot of naysayers, but what they did was, and which made me think that all right, this team has turned the corner. They got better within. They weren't worried about who the matchup was.
Right.
They got better with it. If you look at the way Hurts approached the game, he said he needed to get better for what he had to do to move this team forward. So that's exactly what he did. He worked on himself. Slay and the rest of the DBs knew that they had to get better because they didn't tackle well. They let Amon-Ra get loose a couple times. So they took it upon themselves to play better. The defensive line said, look, we cannot be as porous as we were. We had a 50-yard run on us. We couldn't stop the run. So they took upon themselves to get better. We couldn't rush the passer. We couldn't get to Goff. So they took upon themselves to get better. The offensive line, coach cussed them out. We got to play better. No matter who it is, we got to play better. So me, in my mindset, I'm thinking it doesn't matter who they're playing against. They could have played against anybody, including the Bills. They were not going to lose that game last week on Monday. They weren't going to lose it. So if they keep that same mindset, and the reason why I'm a firm believer in that mindset is because I won a championship. I won a Super Bowl. And the mindset that we had when we had the most success was that of, all right, I'm going to practice it against my guys here. And I know I'm playing against the best defense, the best offense, the best special teams in the NFL. So if I can beat these guys here, it'll be easy on Sunday. And when we stepped on the field, that's what we felt. We were the better team. And when you feel as though you're the better team, you do what you want to do and dictate tempo and have the other team adjust to what you're doing. And I think that's what they did this last game. We're getting better. We're not worried about who the opponent is. A bunch of nameless and faceless jerseys. We're worried about ourselves. We'll get better, and that'll make us play better for whoever we're playing.
Interesting, man.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah. That's a strong statement right there. So, with that said, let's dive into the power rankings, fellas. Let's dive into the NFL overall top 10 AFC, NFC, and let's see where the Eagles fall after Barrett just says that. All right, 1 minute. I'll take first crack. I'll work my way up. 10, I have the Ravens. 9, I have the 49ers. 8, I have the Packers. D-Gun. 7, I have the Eagles. 6, I have the Rams. 5, I have the Chargers. 4, I have the Bucks. 3, I have the Dolphins. 2, I have the Chiefs. 1, I have the Bills. Now, I think there's a lot to debate with 5, 6, 7. 5 Chargers, 6 Rams, 7 Eagles. You could debate the Eagles because you should be ahead of both of those teams that have a loss. Some of this is projection. Some of this is I need to see a little bit more from the Birds. But that's my list. What do you guys think?
I can't find my list.
Very good. You what?
I can't find my list.
All right, man. Why don't we'll have Derek? We'll have Derek go. Derek and I can. You need to jump off, Barrett. You jump off.
Should I go real slow to give Barrett a chance to get his list done?
Where is my
I will
list?
go slow for Barrett.
Come on, guys. Come on.
All right, terrible, let me go. All right. Number 10, I have San Francisco. Number 9, I have Green Bay. Number 8, Baltimore. Number 7, Rams. Number 6, Eagles. Number 5, Tampa Bay. 4 Chargers, 3 Miami, 2 Kansas City, 1 Buffalo.
We're pretty close.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we aren't far off.
Yep.
We really kind of differ just like 6 through 10.
Barrett's still studying.
Yeah,
I got to redo this damn list, man. I did it downstairs with him. I did it upstairs.
All right, you
While
got to
sitting there
grab
having my coffee.
You want to grab it or you want to wait?
No, I'm gonna go ahead and do it right now.
All right, you gonna wing it?
There's so many ifs. Rob, let's collaborate while Barrett reconstructs his list.
Here's what I think, Derek. I think the Rams are gonna start to play better football. Stafford's got to clean up the turnovers, but I think they will play better. Okay, I'm not telling you they're going to repeat, but they're going to be better than what they've looked like so far. Because they almost blew that game last week to the Falcons.
Even
so they're going to be better.
Jalen Ramsey. Yeah.
I think the 49ers, now that Jimmy G's in place, there's like stability. They'll keep getting better. I think the Packers, they got the clunker out of the way early. They're going to be fine.
I still think it's a couple of weeks. Green Bay's a couple of weeks away from getting on the same page with those young receivers.
Well, they have a huge one this week. That game is enormous.
It is, but it's falling more in their favor only because Tampa Bay has lost Mike Evans for this game. We don't know Chris Godwin's status. He's nicked up. They lost another offensive lineman. The defense is going to give Green Bay fits, as it always does. Rodgers always struggles against Todd Bowles' defense. It's going to be interesting. But
I think those teams are on the come. Like, I think they're climbing, and they're going to get better and better. It's not to say the Eagles aren't either. I think the Chargers probably should have won that Kansas City game, and they should be sitting here at 2-0. And they're but the Bucks, I don't know. I mean, their defense is only giving up 6.5 points per game.
Yep.
They're phenomenal. We always talk about the offense with all they're missing, and they are going to be missing a lot, but that defense is still phenomenal.
Absolutely.
The Dolphins are a scoring machine right now, which warrants, and they're 2-0, which warrants them in a top 3 with Kansas City and the Bills. So I think you're debatable once you get past 3, and I guess you have to give the Bucks their props. They're 4-0. I mean, they're 2-0, but after that, it's up in the air, I think.
Yeah, there's still 6 teams undefeated. Projecting Miami that high was based on a 1-game sample in terms of what they did against Baltimore defense that's pretty decent. Now, let me see what they can do against this Buffalo defense. And they have this one at home, which plays in their favor as well. If they put up 30, let's say they put up 30 on Buffalo, and I don't mean garbage time 30. If it's back and forth, if they put up 30 on Buffalo's defense and they still lose by less than 7 points, Miami's legit to me.
Hold on, but you guys are downplaying what they're doing on defense.
No, I'm not, because you heard me say defense won the game for them the first game. I'm not down. I'm not downplaying the defense. I'm just saying when you start playing some of these teams like the Buffaloes, you got to put points on the board. I mean, let's face it, you got to score. Now, if they can score 30 on Buffalo's defense, and even if they lost a close game, to me, Miami's legit, because you went with projected to be the best of the best toe-to-toe until the bitter end. You just didn't have the ball last or something like that. A field goal wins, something like that. But to me, this Miami team is 100 times better, even in a loss, a close loss, 100 times better than the Miami team a year ago.
To me, they're 4. They're 4th in the league.
Okay.
I'll put them at 4. I'll put the Bucks at 3rd.
Based on their defense.
Their defense?
Yeah.
And the number 1 quarterback to ever play the game.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. I mean,
I put Chiefs number 2.
Yep.
And then Buffalo number 1.
Well, what's your total top 10?
I got the 49ers at 10.
Okay.
Green Bay all the way back at 9. It was hard for me to put them up there, man.
I know.
All the way back at 9. Then I put the Chargers. The Chargers at number 8.
Ooh.
Ravens at number 7.
Ravens ahead of the Chargers.
Yes, Ravens ahead of the Chargers. I went Rams at number 6.
Okay.
Then I went the Eagles.
Okay.
Then Miami, Bucks, Chiefs, and Buffalo.
I think the only one that's debatable is the Ravens ahead of the Chargers. I think that one's debatable.
Well, they lost to Miami, and the only reason they lost to Miami, it was an assignment bus. Those were assignment buses.
Yes. Yeah.
That wasn't as though they beat them physically. That was brain farts in the 4th quarter.
Yes.
And they're banged up.
Yeah.
Secondary's banged up too, as of right now.
So that's the only reason why. But yeah, man, I think Green Bay, they're gonna hit right around 10 games. They're gonna come second in their conference. I think Minnesota wins that division.
You still do.
Yeah.
Let's see what
that performance.
Let's see what
Monday
Minnesota
night?
does against Detroit Sunday.
Right.
Man. Okay.
That
Monday night really threw me off of the Vikings.
Yeah,
And I was with you, Barrett, before that, but
well, you guys are thinking more so because of defensively.
Yeah.
And with Ed Donatella, he's not going to play like that. I mean, I don't know why he kept doing it, playing zone like he was more so scared of Hurts' ability to run around. Yes, he's not going to have that same fear against Goff. Believe that.
No,
he's going to put
sure.
everybody in a box to stop the run, and they like their DBs.
Well, Green Bay gave Minnesota a gift the first game. They gave 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
That could have been a different game. Absolutely. And then, of course, they completely got dominated on Monday night. Now, all of a sudden, this Detroit team thinks they can win. And when you think you can win, all of a sudden, you find out you can win if you give a maximum effort. Detroit goes to Minnesota, and they're going to be playing on that fast turf. That's going to be an interesting game. If Detroit wins that game, I might have to start putting Detroit in the top 10 rankings.
Yeah, if they win that, that's going to make the Eagles win all the more impressive. But yeah, I think Detroit. The big question with them is their defense. I mean, they're other than Hutchinson, their defense kind of generally. Their offense, that's a pretty good off, and Goff's playing pretty well.
Dude,
even though nobody wants to give them any kind of credit.
Their defense is good, man. Their defense is pretty good, man. They're above average.
Yes.
And I'm starting to love this defensive line that they have, bro. Like number 79, I keep on forgetting his name. And that's bad that I'm doing that, man. I need to stop that because he has played well enough that I should know his name. Number 79. I just know his number.
All right,
John Kaminsky.
Let's give them a little love. Kaminsky is the guy you're talking about.
You got Kaminsky, Aiden Hudson. You got McNeil.
The kid Rodriguez playing.
My boy Rodriguez.
Yeah,
Barrett didn't like him in training camp, but he liked him after that game. He said, "Hey man, that boy can play."
Yeah. Not after the game. I'm talking after the last 2 games.
Yeah,
against the Washington.
He plays angry too.
Yes, he does. He's got a chip on his shoulder.
This kid is 5'11", 235. He plays like he's 6'3".
Yeah,
Rodrigo. A bowling ball, man.
Yep. Rodrigo's legit.
And here's the interesting thing. The one team that we all left off our list, and I know my reason why, but I want to hear your reason why. Neither one of us put Arizona on the top 10. After what they did. Why?
Because you can't sustain an entire NFL season playing like that and thinking you're going to win like that.
That's what Kyler Murray's claim to fame is.
I agree with Barrett, and I also think that was more the Raiders doing something to their own bed than Arizona coming back. Okay, I tried to clean that up a little bit, but I think that was a Raiders collapse versus. And look, give the Cardinals. Kyler Murray made plays that there are very few, if any, human beings on the face of the earth can make. Okay, I'll give him props. But I don't think most teams are going to cough it up like the Raiders did on that situation.
Oh, look, Michael Stevens says he thinks Detroit will be a wild card this year. I think they're that good.
I wouldn't go against it. I
think they're that good. Yeah,
I think they're in like the 9-win conversation.
Yes,
and that may get you in. It got the Eagles in last year.
Yes, it did. And that's crazy that we're thinking about this team like this too.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I'm glad both of you said that about Arizona, and it was more of a Ravens collapse. But
Raiders
a Raiders collapse. But yet we all have the Ravens on our list, and they had a major collapse. They don't have a running game. They're down 2 running backs. The quarterback is the whole offense, running the ball, passing the ball. The defense is good, but we put the Ravens on our list, but we didn't put the Cardinals on the list.
You're not wrong. I mean, maybe some of that is just like organizational reputation.
There you go.
I'm just being honest.
I'm not a Kingsbury and Kyler Murray fan. I'm not.
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
That's the reason I didn't put him on my list. That's what I was trying to get you guys to get to. I just don't like Cliff Kingsbury's way of coaching the team.
I don't either.
I know I don't like.
Somebody said Kyler Murray running around looked like a toddler and a toddler on juice. Watch when he runs. He takes these little baby steps, but you can't catch him.
No, you can't.
catch him.
Nope.
Fast is all outdoors, man.
Yeah, he is. All right, let's come back and let's really dive into this Eagles-Washington game and the key matchups. As I mentioned, Barrett's all over the tape, the all-22. He's watched a lot of Washington as well. So we will dig in. We'll start with the Eagles defense versus Washington's offense. We'll do that when we get back a little later. Brian Mitchell, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take on this Friday. Hope you're doing great out there. Thanks for hanging with us. Let's talk about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, because knowing who to trust with your finances can be scary. You know how hard you work. You try to put money away. You're trying to invest it the right way. You need the right person, and that is Jim Murray from Principal Financial Group. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, you have a small business, you're looking to figure out a way to get your employee benefits off the ground, that's another resource that Jim can help you with. I've entrusted my IRA, a couple of 401k rollovers to Jim, and I couldn't be happier. You will be as well. Just give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. That's how you reach him. You can also email him at Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.